Today is Friday night, and I don't know what time it is. It's about supper time, I guess, a little after. And it's the 18th of October. So, I had a little crisis this afternoon, but don't worry, everything's calmed down now and under control. What had happened is that, Jill, you remember Jill, she's the one that wrote me that letter, and up in Utah, the one that had my sewing machine, that I went and got it from and all that. Well, she and her husband living out here off the State Park Highway, and she got her a horse. Well, she came by this afternoon around dinner time, and me and Chad went home with her, to spend the day with her out there. It's pretty outside today, so didn't think it won't hurt Chad to get out because it's pretty outside and it's not cold. So we went, and she went and got her horse, and she let her. Chad sat on top of it, and she led it around, and boy, he just had the biggest thrill. And she put her little girl that's 5 years old on top of the horse and rode her around, and she really enjoyed that. And then she tied the horse up beside the house where it could graze, eat some of that grass. And then we went back in the house. Well, Chad had played with some of Frank is Jill's husband, and he'd played with some of his tools out in the yard, and Jill told Chad to go pick 'em up. And, we were still in the house. Well, he went outside. The next thing we knew, he was running up to the house away from the horse, crying. I picked him up and ran in the house, and he was holding his side. And so I, yanked his shirt off, and there was a big old bruise there, and it left a mark where the horse had kicked him. Well, I like to have a heart attack. So, and I was hysterical. Jill she said she started to slap me because I was hysterical. But Chad wasn't bleeding. He wasn't coughing up blood or nothing, but there was that big old, you could see where the horse had kicked him in the side. And I mean, that's a full-grown horse. It ain't no pony, And so we grabbed him and went and jumped in the truck, and she rushed me up to Mother Francis. This was at 3:30 this afternoon. And we stayed up there until 6:30. But they took x-rays of him. They x-rayed his head and his side, and his pelvic bones, and just all in there. They took a bunch of x-rays. And Dr. Reed, his regular doctor, he's out of town for the weekend, and Dr. Moore is taking his calls. That's another pediatrician. Well, he came up there and he checked him. And, he poked around on him. He looked at the x-rays, and he said we was awfully lucky. He said that no damage was done. Thank God. And, boy, I tell you, I was really relieved. I mean, I was a nervous wreck. I was really scared. But he said that everything that, he looked at the x-rays and said nothing looked wrong. Excuse me. And that he would just have a bad bruise there, and he'd probably be sore for a couple of days, and just watch him, that, he'd be okay. And he's right, too. Boy, right now, Chad's chasing the dogs through the house, and he just won't hardly sit still. He's just running like a wild man. He makes me so nervous. I wish he'd sit down and, settle down. But he won't. He's acting like nothing even happened. So, boy, when we was sitting in the hospital, he said he wanted to go back and ride the horsey again. So he's not scared of the horse. But, man, So that's where I spent my afternoon. Up in Mother Francis Hospital in the emergency room. But I'm just thankful to God that nothing bad came out of it, I'm so relieved. So we came home. It was about 6:30. And Mother said she'd been trying to find me. She knew I was at Jill's, and she knew about where Jill lived, and she'd driven out there, and the truck wasn't there, so she couldn't find find out exactly where she lived. But she said that Lee had been calling, and that this was his weekend to have Chad. Well, I didn't even know that, 'cause I still hadn't gotten those papers from our lawyer yet. And I called my lawyer, and he said I should have them. He said it is in the mail, that I should have it tomorrow. So, but Lee said that in the papers, he got his papers a week ago from his lawyer. And he told him that, go put those crackers up, Chad. Go put them up. He said he had his papers a week ago, and that in the papers it had it where he had him on the first and third weekend of each month, from Friday at 5 o'clock Friday evening to 5 o'clock Sunday evening. And he's coming after him. And Mama told him that I wasn't here. You know, she was looking for me to tell me, because I didn't even know they were supposed to get him this weekend. And I told, you know, Mother didn't even know I was at the hospital. I didn't call her or nothing, because I was going to find out what was happening first, you know. And so I came home, and then she told me that, and then I told her my news. And so Leah left a phone number for me to call, and I did, and it was the one up at the store. So I called him, and I told him that Chad was sick with a sore throat. He didn't even know Chad had a sore throat. So I told him that Chad's throat was infected, and I was giving him medicine. And I also told him that what had happened with the horse. And he said that he'd like to come by and see him next time he got his break, you know, to check on him. And I said, all right, fine, you know. And so he did. He came by about 30 minutes ago, I guess. And he, you know, he just wanted to see how he was doing. It wasn't no big deal. He just stayed about 5 minutes, just long enough to check to see how he was and make sure the horse didn't kill him, you know. Make sure he was okay. And he said he'd come by in the morning about 10 o'clock and pick him up. He wanted him the rest of the weekend. You know, I could go ahead and keep him tonight and have him sleep in his own bed and say that he was okay. And then if he's going to be okay, which he is, you know, he's going to come by in the morning at 10 o'clock and pick him up, and he's going to keep him all night and bring him back Sunday. He said he's going to take him to Dallas Sunday afternoon, see the Cowboys play. Asked Chad if he wanted to go to a football game, and old Chad, he was ready to go right then, you know, but so that's what's happening. That's what's going on. I tell you, my nerves about ready to pop when that horse kicked him. I didn't see it happen. Nobody saw it happen. Last night when I seen when that horse had kicked him, I like to died. Excuse me. But I called my lawyer, and I asked him, I said, Lee said he's supposed to have him this weekend, and, you know, I told him, I said, I really don't want him to have him because of what happened. He said, well, is the boy okay? And I said, yeah. He said, well, it's not much you can do about it. You know, we went to court and we lost on that part. He says, if you don't let him have him, you know, if he's definitely ill, you can keep him. But if it's just, you know, like him having the sore throat, well, he's not running a fever or nothing now. And Lee can give him the medicine. And about that horse, well, ain't, you know, nothing seriously wrong. I mean, he's going to live. And as far as watching him, well, you know, Lee can watch him. So he says, he suggested very strongly that I let Lee have him. Because if I didn't, then Lee could take me back to court and sue me. You know, not sue me, but fine me. The court could fine me for not, you know, letting him have him when the judge has already said that I had to. But also, Lee made the comment to me that he wasn't going to pay me that $150 for my lawyer fee. And I told him that, by God, he was too, or I was going to have him thrown in jail. He said, well, you just do what you have to do. He said, but I ain't going to pay it. I said, well, that's just fine. I said, there's going to be trouble. I told him, Lee, I said, well, there's going to be trouble. So I told my lawyer when I called him, I said, well, I talked to Lee. And he said he wasn't going to pay that $150. He said, well, if he don't, we'll just throw him in jail. And so, I don't know, it's just so hectic. But I'm gonna get that $150 by God. I'm determined. But Lee, when he came by here a while ago, he asked me how much it was gonna cost for the hospital, emergency room and x-rays and all that. And they told me up there that it was $53. And that was for the emergency room and the x-rays and the doctor's fee. And so it was $53, and Lee asked me if I'd given them his hospitalization thing, and I told him no, that I just told him to bill me bill me. That was all. And he said he was gonna go up there and take care of it. That he'd have them send it through his policy, that way it wouldn't cost me anything. So I told him fine, if he wanted to, fine, I didn't care. I don't want to pay $53 anyway. I'd rather save it, But anyway, I don't see what difference it makes. And anyway, that's what's going on. And boy, it sure has been a hectic day. That's all I can say. I got a letter from you this morning. Oh, Chad's crying. Hold on. Guess what? He just busted his mouth wide open. I don't believe this kid. I think he's self-destructive. He's trying to kill himself for the day's out. It looks like he fell and busted his bottom lip. God. Well, I wonder if we're going to make it through this day. Oops, I moved my mouth. I said I wonder if we're going to make it through this day before he kills himself. I just went and got me a banana. I'm back. It's good. Yummy, good old banana. Just like a monkey. Or an ape. But I washed his mouth off and he was bleeding. He's gonna live. That kid, I tell you what. He's a mess. He's back in there right now. I washed his mouth off and wiped off all the blood and checked and saw we just knocked it, Like, poor kid. It's terrible. I'm scared to even think of what he could do next, But he's in there watching TV again. I got him calmed down and stopped crying. He's back in there watching the tube. At least he's sitting down now. I think he's about learned he best sit down before he kills himself. So he's sitting down. I sure wish you were here to help me corral him. Golly. He's at that age where he is awfully rambunctious. Oh, God. So, yeah, what's new? Gee. Some weekend starting out great. Mother and Daddy are gonna leave tomorrow. Go to Lake Palestine. Tomorrow's Daddy's birthday. They're gonna go up Lake Palestine and spend the night, spend the weekend. And Chad'll be with the Holdens, so I'll be by myself. Oh, how awful. I don't want to be by myself. Look. What a bummer. I want to be with my husband. Oh, honey. Why can't I spend the weekend with you? I wish. Oh. Boy. I sure do love you. I sure do miss you. I sure do wish you were here with me. If you were, I'd give you a bite of my banana. I'm real good at sharing. I'm not selfish. I'm not stingy. My mommy taught me to share. I'd give you a bite. That ain't all I'd give you either. Mm-mm-mm. Oh, let's see what else can I tell you. All these crises coming up. All these emergencies. Maybe I can finish this tape without him having another accident. Keep my fingers crossed. Man, oh man. I can't believe this kid. He's something. Finish eating my banana. It's good. Yum, 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 yum. That's what I need is my own banana tree. Mm-mm-mm. That letter I got today was so sweet. You say the greatest things to me, honey. You know that? I hope you feel like that when we're 100 years old. Or we've been married 100 years. I hope you still feel the same way. Oh. Mm-mm-mm. Everybody says, that I've had several people make the comment, when I told them that my husband was in Korea, they say, well, you get along pretty good then, don't you? But, oh, honey, I miss you so much. I, I need my husband. Everybody says I've got the perfect marriage. But I haven't. I do, but I don't. I would if I had my husband. You know? There, my banana's all gone. I just ate the last bite. Sorry you didn't get none. Let me think of what I can tell you about. I'm gonna make another tape tomorrow. Yeah, on that tape, I'll have these two together. But on that tape, I'll be telling you, I'll be reading to you. Let's say the the forms. If I get it in the mail tomorrow, I should, because my lawyer said it was in the mail, so I should get it tomorrow. So I'll read that to you, so you'll know exactly what it says. Okay? And I'm sure you're curious about what I know you are about what was said in court. I'll go ahead and say some of that. Say that on this tape. I wanted this to be a real nice, loving tape, and it started out that way. But I guess it ain't gonna end that way. I'm sorry. Honey, I'm so sorry. I love you so much. Oh, so very much. I'll, uh, I want to tell you before I get into that other mess. Last night, I saw this movie. It was on TV. It was the movie, for Thursday night movie, And the name of it was Sunshine. And I don't know if you've ever seen that movie or not. But that was the first time I'd ever seen it. And oh, honey, it was so sad. It's about this girl. And she, met this guy. And they fell in love. And she had been married before and got pregnant. Well, she had the baby, and it was a little girl. And then her husband, finally said he'd divorce her. So when he did, they'd been separated all this time. She ran out on him. She left him because he was a bum. Well, when she left him, she was pregnant. Well, then that's when she met this other guy and fell in love with him. And so they were living together. And then her husband said he would give her a divorce. And then she married this other guy, the one she was living with at the time. And they named their baby. She hadn't named her baby. From her first marriage, she was pregnant. When she had the baby, they gave it her new husband's name. Well, she found out she had cancer. And it was in her leg. And it spread up to her lungs, which was the final stage. And all through the movie, it was her telling what it was like to be dying, And, she was 20 years old. That's all. And she was very pretty and young and just full of life. And, it was so sad because she and this guy, they loved each other so very much. And then at the end of the movie, she died. And it just tore him up, something bad. And I cried, and I cried, and I cried. And, it was so sad. And, a lot of times I'd lay here at night and I think, tomorrow it's not impossible. Tomorrow I could have a couple of guys come knocking on my door and tell me that you're dead, that you were killed in an accident. Just 'cause there ain't no war going on, that don't mean you couldn't get yourself killed. But I have a fear of answering the door sometime and two men standing there dressed in uniform telling me that my husband was being killed in an accident, or that you were murdered, or something like this. And on the same day, the very same day, get a letter from you telling you how anxious you are to come home and how much you love me. And I'm scared. I'm really scared. 'Cause I know it could happen. I don't want it to happen, but it could. And it really scares me bad. Honey, I don't know what I would do if that happened. I can't live without you. If you were to die, I would die. I just love you so much. I don't know what I would do if that happened. I really think I'd kill myself. I really do. Because I can't live without you. I don't want to live without you. And it scares me so bad. I love you, darling. I love you so much. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to start crying. But I can't help it. It's just that I don't want to live without you. If I were to lose you, I'd die. I wouldn't want to live. I love you so much. So much. I know you feel the same way. And I know that you have the same fears that I might get myself killed, before you get home. And I know that you have the same fears that I might get myself killed, before you get home. Well, I'm not trying to, but it's not impossible. Nobody knows when their time is up. But I don't want to die. I don't want you to die. I don't want Chad to die. We're so good together. And I want our family to increase. You know? I love you, baby. I love you so much. Please take care of yourself. Don't let anything happen to you. I love you. I love you more than anything on earth. I do. God help me, I do. I could never be unfaithful to you. It's not in me. I can't. I don't want to. I love you so much. If I ever went to bed with somebody else, I couldn't live with myself. The guilt would just eat me alive. Because I love you so much. It would kill me. I love you so much, baby. Excuse me. I'm burping bananas. It gets need to get on a subject that's more cheerful. I don't want to cry. I can't help it, but I try not to. Especially in a tape where you hear me crying. Because it doesn't do any good. But, What can I say? It really upset me and tore me up when I got the letter where you said you couldn't come home. 'Cause I was looking forward to it so much. And it really upset me when I got the letter saying that you couldn't. But like you said in this letter, we are just gonna have to accept it. There's nothing else I can do except just accept it. I told you that I bought a baby bed. It's in perfect condition too. One of these days I plan on putting a little BB in it. Your baby. Our baby. Babies. Who knows? As long as it's healthy, I don't care what it is. As long as it's healthy. What else can I say? What do you think about what your mama's tried to pull? I want to know your opinion. You know? I mean, I know she's made Chad a house coat for his Christmas present. And I know she told me that they went out and bought you a present. She told me what it is, but I ain't gonna tell you. But it wasn't cheap, I'll tell you that much. And, I don't know, I think she's making me something. Excuse me. But, she's already said she didn't want nothing from me. She wants it from you. She wants you to send her something from over yonder as a souvenir. It's up to you. You just write and tell me what you want to do. You want to give in and let her have her way? You want to go ahead and keep spoiling her and giving in to little mama? Or are you going to do what you want to do instead of what she wants to do? I don't know what you want to do. You may want to do what she wants to do for all I know. I don't know. Shit, I don't know nothing. I'm sorry I said a dirty word. I apologize. But I'm not perfect. I'm human. What can I say? Oh. But send me a tape or a letter or something and tell me what to do. Okay? 'Cause I don't know. You know. You know. I love you. I love you, 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 I love you. You better catch him quick. Mercy. Mwah. You better catch them all. You wanna come give some daddy some sugars?
No,
He said, no ma'am, no ma'am, no ma'am, no ma'am. Tell Daddy hello. Why? He ain't gonna talk to you today. Sorry. He's been a turkey. Tell Daddy what that horse did to you. Chad. Come in and tell Daddy that that horse kicked you in the tummy. Hey. Chad. Chad. Tell Daddy what that horse did.
A horse did.
Tell him what that horse did. They kicked me in the side.
A horse kicked my tummy.
Tell you went to the hospital.
I went to a hospital.
And they tell me they took x-rays.
They kicked X-rays.
And Dr. Moore looked at your tummy.
And doctor look my tummy. I did.
Oh, you giving Daddy my sugars. Mercy. Tell Daddy you went and busted your lip.
I bust my lip.
Yeah.
Look at our girl.
Oh. Don't run. Walk. Chad. He just took out running out of the bedroom. He's gonna kill itself. I know it. Oh, I just know he's gonna. Here he comes running back. Chad, you quit that running. You walk before you break your neck. So he walks fast. He's impossible, honey. I need you to help me with him. He's impossible. He's gonna kill himself. Oh, I just stretched. I'm laying here in bed, being lazy, talking to you. Oh, I just made a big old stretch. Now I feel like I just collapsed. I'm weak. But I love you so much. Sugars. Nah. I'm so tired. Boy, I've had so much excitement today. I don't like days like this. Because I'll have a weekend to recuperate, though. I sure wish you were here. I love you so much. I miss you so much. God, how I miss you, baby. You're my whole world. You know that? You are. I need you to survive. I really do. So, tell me. I guess by now you've taken that test. See if you got your extra stripe. Huh? So, did you pass it? Hope. If you didn't, don't worry about it. You can take it again some other time, you know. It's no big sweat, but I hope you got it. For your sake, because I know you wanted it. It's more for you than for me, you know. I mean, I want you to have it, you know. I want you to be happy. If that makes you happier, I'm all for it, you know. That's all. If you didn't pass the test, I'm not going to be disappointed, you know, because there's always the next time, you know. I love you. I love you so much. so very much. Oh, if you were here right now, things I would do to your body. Mm-mm-mm. Man, oh man. Wow. Mm. I love you. I love you, baby. So much. God, how I love you. I keep getting back on that same subject, don't I? I keep drifting right back. I get off on other subjects, and I always end up back on that same subject of how much I love you. So I bet I sound like a broken record, don't I, darling? I'm sorry. I can't help myself. I do love you, and I want you to know it. You know? What can I say? I'm homesick for my hubby. I'm homesick and I'm lonely. And I want you. I want your body. I want to attack you. Devour you. Only without it devouring. Be naughty. Nasty, nasty, nasty. She was good though. Oh. See how much tape I got? Still got a half tape to go. Oh, guess I ought to tell you what all happened in court. Let's see. First, we went in, and, we sat there and waited, and the judge came out. And, Lee's lawyer put him on the stand. He had first go round. So he put Lee on the stand, and he asked him his name and his occupation, and, all this rigmarole. He asked him, let's see. He asked him his name, where he worked, and also it got out, that he's going to TJC, taking morning classes. They asked him his income, and he said he was making $400 a month, and that the government was paying him $200 a month to go to school. They asked what bills he owed, what kind of car he had, and it came out that he just got him a new car. It's not brand new, it's new to him. A new Oldsmobile. And they asked why he got a new car, and he said because his old one fell apart, the motor burned up or something. And he asked him about, he brought out that Lee said that, that I'd moved to Utah, that we had called him up. That I'd called him up and told him that I was moving. Well, he told him that I called him and said I was moving. That if I wanted to come see Chad, that if he wanted to come see Chad, he better come and see him because he wasn't never going to see him again. He said I didn't tell him that we was going to Utah. He said he didn't know where he was until the check came back, and it had on there it was Ogden, Utah. He said until then he didn't know where we were. I told my lawyer that wasn't true. That he did know we was in Utah. He just didn't know where, And my lawyer didn't push it. Made me mad. Because Lee said he didn't know where we were. And I said he did too. He just didn't know exactly where. He knew where we were. He just didn't know exactly where we were. But he knew we was in Utah. He said he didn't know he was in Utah till he got that check back. Made me mad. But anyway, he said that. And he said, lawyer, he said that, lawyer's asking these questions, and he said that, he had hospitalization out on Chad, and he set up a trust fund where if he gets killed, and, Chad, money would go for Chad's trust fund, and all this, it made himself look good. That's all it did. And, that's about all. And then, my lawyer talked to him, and, my lawyer asked him, what did he ask him? Oh, and his lawyer also, it came out about that hot check, you know? And, his lawyer brought that out. My lawyer didn't want to bring it out because we wanted to show that he had credit. He just didn't want he had the money, he just didn't want to pay it. Well, Lee's lawyer brought it out that the check had bounced, you know. Oh, and about those phone calls, Lee said that his lawyer asked him about the phone calls, and he said that you'd called him at work, and that you had called him at home. And first time you called, you said you'd called to tell him that, or to ask him, or tell him that you wanted to adopt Chad. And he said that you told him that you loved Chad and you wanted to adopt him. And he told you no. And then he said you'd called back later, when we got that check, and to tell him that the check had bounced and that we weren't going to send it back through again. He said he told us to send it back through, and then you said that no, we weren't going to send it back through. We were just going to keep it and use it against him. And he hadn't never seen it since, that we didn't ever send it back through. And so, that was brought out. And then my lawyer asked him, about the, they brought it out that Lee was 8 months behind on child support when I came home. They got all caught up and then filed suit against me, and then got behind on child support again while we was waiting to go to court. We brought that out, make him look bad, show that he had the money, he just didn't want to pay it, And so, then, I got on he said that you had threatened him, which was kind of stupid, because, he told the judge, he said on the stand, he said that he said you threatened him whenever you came to the Sizzler, that when you left, you said, "I see you, Lee." And I kind of laughed, and I said, "How since when does I see you a threat, But, he's stupid. So then I got on the stand, and, my lawyer cross-examined me, and I told him my name, and that I lived with my parents, and that, I didn't work. I didn't plan on working. And I told him the reason I wasn't going to work is because I didn't have a car. And I couldn't always depend on Mother and Daddy being here when I needed to go to work. And that if I did get a job, by the time I took out for babysitter and gasoline, and income tax and Social Security, by the time I took out for all that, I wouldn't come out with anything. And so, then he asked me, I'd made that list of all the expenses for Chad, like doctor bills and prescriptions and for entertainment, like taking him to the fair, and personal needs like buying toothpaste and bubble bath, and then for groceries, and then plus also that, it was on there that we brought out that when I moved home with Mother and Daddy, we made an agreement that I'd give them $40 a month for me and Chad for help out the groceries. So that was brought out. And so anyway, I had that list. And I gave it, my lawyer gave it to the judge. And he kept it, and looked over it. And my lawyer, they asked me how much money that you sent me, and I told them $300 a month. A check on the 15th and 30th, each is $150. And my lawyer called the Air Force recruiting office and found out exactly how much you made, which was $700. And uh, I told them that you sent me 300 of it. And they asked me what you did with the remaining. And I said, well, I don't know, you know. And they said, well, does he live on the barracks? And I said, yes. And so what does he do with his money? I said, well, I don't know, you know. What can I say? I'm not there. I don't see what he spends every little penny on. I don't know what he spends it on. Which I'm sure, you know, I could have said, well, he spends it on groceries, he spends it on food, he spends it on clothing and things like this, you know, but, which, you know, they sure ought to be able to figure out, but they want to know exactly everything, you know, exactly what you spend it on, and I didn't know. So I just told them I don't know. The judge asked me if I received an allotment check. And I said, no, that you didn't send me an allotment check. I didn't get one. That what I got was just what you sent me, you know. And that it was brought out, you know, of our bills, that, you know, what they were and what they totaled out to a month. And that I only had $100 left over for my and Chad's expenses. And my lawyer pointed out that you was the one that was supporting Chad, not Lee, and that wasn't right. That Lee was the one that was supposed to be supporting him, you know. And so, excuse me. And then Lee's lawyer questioned me, and he asked me what move I made, you know, at the 1st of January. And I told him that's when I moved to Utah. And he asked if I, at that time when I left, when I left, did I have the intention where Lee would never see Chad again? I said yes, which was true. What could I say? It was true. And then he asked if he asked again, you know, why I didn't want to get a job. And I told him again, you know, because, you know, the reasons I already said, and also because, and then he pointed out, he said, well, you worked when Lee and I were getting a divorce, but after I left Lee, I came home and I got a job. I worked then. I worked when I was married to Knox. I was married after I was married to Knox, after the divorce, up to the time I met you. He says, you worked all this time. He says, why don't you want to work now? And I said, that is why. I says, as far as I can see, the babysitter's the one that's been raising Chad, not me. And he said, that's all, Your Honor. It made me mad because he cut me off, you know. I wanted to keep on talking, but he cut me off. And so, that was all. There wasn't anything said about no taping any conversations. There wasn't anything said about my past. There wasn't anything said about me working in the club. Nothing, you know? Nothing about drugs or anything, you know? Anything that would run me down. It was my past. There wasn't anything said about my past. And that was all. It really surprised me because I figured Lee's lawyer would get me up there, you know, and say, hey, have you ever smoked marijuana, you know, and hey, have you ever, you know, what'd you do when you was working in the club, you know, and I figured he'd try to prove me unfit, but he didn't. And I'm sure he didn't because that's not why we were there, you know. And it would have made the judge mad, you know. And so nothing was said about my past. He asked, you know, it was brought out, the judge knew we lived together before we got married because he asked when I went to Utah, and I said January the 7th. You know, and I went with you up there, and he asked when we were married, and I said May the 8th. So the judge knew we lived together before we got married. So he brought that out, but he dropped it at that, you know. He made his point, and then he quit. And he didn't push it, you know. So, and that was all that was said. Then I got down, and the judge went back. He said, you know, 10 minutes rest, you know, recess or whatever you call it, you know, 10-minute break. He went back in his chambers for 10 minutes, and he came back out, and then he read out what he decided. And that's, when I get that tomorrow, I'll read it to you, and I'll be making a new tape, or I'll read it to you. But like I said before, I'd asked my lawyer, you know, so if I could get what was every, you know, a thing that paper of everything that was said. He said, I could, but it cost me $30 or $40, you know. And I told him, I said, well, I ain't got no $30 or $40. He said, well, I'm sorry, you know. And so he said, he told me that I'm sorry, you're just gonna have to tell your husband, you know, what was said. You know, unless you want to pay $30, $40 to get it. And I said, well, forget it, you know. So, I'm sorry, I can't send you that thing that you wanted, you know. But I love you. I wish you could have been here with me. But I lived through it. Hold on, I hear Chad in the kitchen rambling around. I'll be right back, baby. I love you. Honey, I'm just about ready to run out of tape, so I'll say goodnight. I love you. And I'll make you another tape tomorrow, okay? I'll mail them both at the same time. I love you so much. Always remember that. Good night, darling. Sweet dreams. I love you. I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you so much.